If you have the iPhone 10 or lower, you probably want to upgrade because I think it's a conspiracy when Apple releases a new phone, they send some signal out to fuck up your old phones.
Bro, I just got a new iPhone 10 in May. It's too soon for all that.
So I mean, if you got it now, then you got a couple of generations, a couple in. But if you got the
they're gonna send you the virus in a couple of months.
Probably good. I got the 10s, so I'm probably gonna wait till next year to get the phone. So I'm in no rush. But I'm sure. I know Mike was telling me that he was having some issues with his 10. So
once I hit 30%, or it's like the shit just starts acting up.
Yeah, that's
the
signal that they send out.
Bro, I gotta hit a letter twice for it to like get through, and then I'm like, wrong letter, and I delete it, and then it just goes deletes everything, and I'm just like,
oh man, yeah. So you might want to go ahead and get that.
Pressuring you.
11. You gonna get the 11 Max?
I think
that shit looks big as fuck.
I'm sick of big phones.
Right. I have 2 phones.
One's his trap phone, one's his personal phone.
Yeah, all the ladies out there, is that a red flag? I'm just wondering. As a single man, I'm just saying. But the reality is, it's a personal phone, and it is a business phone for the store. Not everybody needs your bat line number or whatever, but
that's the wrong thing to do.
I think I pretty much hit you guys up.
You texted me once from the burner, and I was like, "Is this Mike?"
I said some shit that was like very Mike-ish.
Do you get the when he texts you from it? Does it goes maybe Mike or whatever?
No, it didn't. No, but yeah, that does happen, but not with him.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's how you know it's working. They're not on to him.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, the personal phone, that's the X. It acts up like crazy. So I'm probably gonna upgrade this. Mm-hmm. But the 8 Plus, like this thing is it's a tank. Like the thing just like I could be at 0.5% probably, and the shit's still going.
Let me ask you this though: Do you use your 10 more than you use your 8? And I mean, when I say use it, not just for like text messages, emails, and shit. I'm saying for like photos. If you're editing stuff.
Okay, so I use this for all my Belly Buckets content.
Okay.
So I'll leave this recording for half an hour.
Okay.
20 minutes, video footage, and all that stuff. I won't text as much unless I need to.
Okay.
And then the person I use it for everything.
Yeah, for everything else that you're using.
Yeah,
right.
But the real other benefit to this is because they're on 2 different carriers, I do use this for a hotspot, and every now and then we need a hotspot. This one doesn't have it because AT&T be on some bullshit. But
what's the carrier?
Sprint.
Sprint, man.
Not proud of that.
Sprint, strong. People be sleeping on Sprint. Man, my phone work everywhere.
What phone did you use in Vegas this past weekend?
What
got more use? The work phone or the play phone?
For sure, both. Because there were some long nights where like this joint ain't making it. It's already depleted. And somehow I'm still alive. It was a fun trip.
Yeah. You saw the Migos. That was your first time?
Yeah. Migos was tight. It was my second time with them. What was a little different this time is their start time.
Start time?
The start time of their performance.
Oh, okay. Where'd you see that, Drais?
They're at Drais.
Okay.
Yeah. And shout out to Drais, man. Like, that's family right there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dustin, Phil, Randy, Jamil. Those guys, great dudes. And, honestly, they're the premier hip hop venue in Vegas for sure.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I heard a rumor. Let's just say it's a rumor, so I won't say what it is. But there was a little start time pushback, and they got on for their first song at 3:50 in the morning.
Old Vegas days, that probably would have been. That probably would have worked.
Flew. If you were talking like Dre's after hours, for sure.
Yeah, easily.
But 3:50 in the morning, first record.
People have probably already been there for 4 hours.
I'm not gonna lie. I saw like one section walk out, but the vibe was still great. Shout out to Franzen. He really, and I texted him as this was going on. I'm like, bro, you. Like it is a testament to your OG and your knowledge and your just ability to like maneuver through it, because I could see some moments where he was like, damn, where are these guys?
Yeah.
And he still kept the energy going, man, till the very last record. And then it just popped out, Jason Tatum was there.
Nice. What time did Franny's set start?
Franzen was on when I walked in at like 12.
Damn.
Ish 12:30.
So he was on for a minute.
Marathon.
Yeah, so he was on for a long set.
Yeah,
and just did his thing. So It was dope. Migos was cool.
Yeah,
we had a nice section really close to the stage, so it was like just kicking it with the Migos, my amigos.
You know, and when I think of Franz, and I think of him and LP, because I feel like they're the only two club DJs that I know that have pictures with Notorious B.I.G.
Right.
That's like the biggest flex on Instagram when they post those pictures. Like, damn. Like, no one else can touch it. No one else can top
that. And I'm pretty sure they got drops from them, too.
Probably.
From Biggie. And I'm sure a lot of other,
them fools been in the game for
legendary
time.
dudes. But yeah, Vegas, you know, it's fun. It's a fun time. I was there for 2 days and, you know, caught a good vibe. And I also got to hit up recently the Family Style Food Fest. I could be butchering that, but essentially... It's Complex Con, but for food. And for those that don't know what Complex Con is, it's just a collective of a ton of brands. And what was really cool about this, this little, I guess, festival, was like, first of all, it was operated by the Hundreds, Bobby and Bobby and Ben Hundreds, and I blanked out for 2 seconds. But Streetwear Legends, they held it down. Teamed up with a couple other people that I know, and man, they got all the poppin' like food spots all in one place.
What was the best thing you tasted there?
First of all, pause. Second of all, no. What was the best meal? Look, can't go wrong with John and Vinny's. Okay. We had some pizza from John and Vinny's. Also had Uncle Polly's. They had, no disrespect to your mom's Italian sausage.
Be careful. Easy.
Kathy will pull up on you.
Easy.
But it was a strong effort to get there. Your mom's still puts it down. Numero uno.
The red sauce was on point.
It was fire. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was fire.
You're allowed to like other Italian dishes. That's fine. I almost said sausages, but that would have been a pause and a waste of time, just like this whole thing I'm
just
doing.
Like you just did right now. Exactly. So anyway, and I did it for the first time. Try Tacos 1986, who has a lot of buzz as one of the top tacos. I think they did really well. Not quite Tacos El Gordo level, in my opinion, with the Al Pastor, you know, as a Belly Buckets ambassador.
Yeah.
You know, I know my tacos. And then I tried Slab, which is an H-Wood Group venue, and I've been there before for their barbecue. It's fire. If you haven't had it, definitely go check out Slab. I think it's on 3rd. But fire food. And the whole vibe was great. Actually, also shout out to Bad Mash. There was another dish that really blew my mind.
And that is
A-Track. Did a collab. Shout out to A-Track, Beat Source family.
Beat Source fam.
And I chopped it up with him a little bit. He was looking extra gothy this time with the colored hair and the wide pants. But and shout out to Sammy, ran into him too. But so he did a collab with Bad Mash, which one of the chefs is my old roommate Gio.
Yeah,
who used to hold it down with us
for
all the different stuff. Shout out to Gio. And they did this flan collab, and they would put caramel or hot fudge with the flan, and then cereal toppings. Dog, why hasn't anybody done this? Like, it was fire.
There's different type of cereals that you could choose from.
It was just like an array of toppings. Like, that could be its own business.
Yeah.
Like, if you just literally pop flans and you just like Chipotle, you know, fast selected toppings.
The yogurt land type thing.
Dog, let me tell you this. I'm not a flan eater.
Nah, not me either.
That's not my vibe. It's like the texture's funny. You know, it's just not my thing. But once you throw some caramel on that bitch, and then, you know, some Fruit Loops and some
Captain Crunch.
Right? Yeah, take your pick. What's your favorite cereal?
Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles, okay.
Yeah, I'm a Captain Crunch guy.
Captain Crunch?
Yeah.
I'm kind of a Frosted Flakes dude.
Yeah.
But,
I feel that.
You know, but it was, man, straight fire.
Damn.
You could even put the Travis Scott Reese's Puffs on them.
When they gonna bring that shit to LA?
Huh? I'm gonna hit up Gio. We need to set something up.
Yeah.
Because it was fire. So that was actually that might have been the best thing. Blew my mind.
No.
Yeah. So great experience, and I highly recommend, you know, when the next one comes around, to definitely check it out.
Yeah.
And then you were recently somewhere for the first time, and I'm not talking about Disneyland.
I went to Penthouse Dayclub for the first time. So big ups to Joey, Darrell Boykins, Butch,
Jermaine,
like so many people. Marley was doing his thing. Yeah, Marley was being Marley. But yeah, so that was my first time going, and if you follow Penthouse, or if like just the day club, I don't know, culture, I guess. Like Penthouse is killing it. They're at the top, if not top 2 or 3 in the country. And so I went for the first time, and I was telling Mike, it's funny because I know I can go. I know all those guys. Yeah. But it's just a matter of, do I want to get off my ass on a Sunday evening to go, And I know it's going to be great.
And let's clarify, when you're saying that, it's because if you're not reserving a table, or if you're not a really good looking woman, from whatever, like, or you got the budget, like, you're not getting in. At all. And you could be sitting there, it don't matter. Show up early, don't matter, you're gonna pay. And so that's just to set up why.
So again, big ups to Joey, because Joey's that type of dude that wants to tell you and show you everything about the spot. He'll give you a history of it and all the people that are doing this and that. And as he's telling me this, we're on the floor. As he's telling me this, they clear the way to bring out the coffin. And so I got people hit me up on Instagram like, yo, what the fuck is that? Because no one's ever seen a coffin in a club. And but it's like, it's a bottle presentation. And Butch had talked about this in depth on the Road podcast. He was saying that the coffin, it's like, after taxes, gratuity, the coffin presentation is like $14,000. And it's just a big thing, and they make a big thing about it. And so Joey's telling me this, and he said that's not even the most expensive package. Like, you see those planes in the air, there's planes that are stuck on the ceiling. There's about 3 of them. A girl riding on a plane with that whole thing, that's like $17,000, $18,000 package. So it's really mind-boggling when you walk in and you see what these guys are doing there. And next week is their last weekend of being open. I will not be there because that just sounds like chaos.
Fucking madhouse.
It's gonna be ridiculous.
Did they play the Undertaker track when they
found out the That's part of the presentation, and that's, I think, why there's such a premier, or the premier day club. Not just
every week's a different theme.
Every week is a different theme.
And they went 7 months this season. They started in March. I believe. You got the they went longer.
Joey broke it down. Normally they don't start until about June or something like that.
I'd argue to say also that, like, this summer started a little later than other summers for us. Like, it didn't really get hot.
Weather-wise, you mean?
Weather-wise. Like, we've been partying all summer.
June, early June. Normally we get that heat. That heat wave starts to happen in May-ish. I feel like we didn't really get it until like late June.
And I think even now, like I know guys are ending their day parties, and I think that has a lot more to do with, once you get past Labor Day used to be like the end.
That's the social summer end, like you know what I mean. At the end, that like Labor Day is it,
and that's it.
It's gone.
But clearly we're weeks past that. And it feels like you could still keep going.
Yeah, you can go till November.
Technically, you could. I mean, in LA, you can go until November.
And you could argue. I mean, Penthouse is a day club, but it's not outdoors, so it's not fully dependent on the weather. But they kill it. I mean, from everything that the girls wear to the food that they literally
all the tables get Chick-fil-A.
So Chick-fil-A on a Sunday.
On a Sunday,
which is crazy.
That's doing that. That's a flex in itself.
Who's doing that?
You know what I'm saying? And they'll have the chicken and waffles. They have Wingstop. They'll switch it up. It's dope.
Yeah, they're definitely shitting on everybody.
Literally,
all little things like that just kind of like cancels a lot of situations out. But yeah, so big ups to those guys, their family. Appreciate the hospitality, and that was my Sunday. Rell, you spun in LA this past weekend.
I did Elevate downtown. Shout out to DJ Eddie Boy,
Young Eddie.
Yeah, it was cool, man. I had a good night. It's been majority of the spots I spend is predominantly hip hop, so it was a little refreshing to be able to step out and do other than the hip hop Afro beat stuff. And get to incorporate a little bit of the EDM Latin stuff
Club
into myself. Yeah, absolutely. So overall, it was a decent night. Had fun with it.
How was it? I don't know. You've worked with Eddie Boy before. How was it like working with getting booked by someone you're cool with. Obviously, he's DJ City.
Booking with Eddie Boy was really a really dope experience. You know, having someone that'll give you all the details.
Yeah.
You know, up front and giving you what you're expecting was dope. You know what I mean? I really appreciated that. I know that with the dress code situation, I didn't think to ask what the dress code was because we live in LA and for the most part it is fashion forward.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I know I should have a better idea or thought about asking what it is. It was a venue that I haven't personally done in years. It was remodeled and done.
But I feel like clubs around the world, it's like you can kind of go in dressed to however you want if you're a DJ.
But not really though. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're a DJ, absolutely. Yeah. But you know, when you have guests, guests coming
it's different
up,
when you have
it's
guests.
different. You know what I mean? And you know, going back to what we talked about, you going to Arizona and you know your what you experienced going into that spot, and they were like, we can't let you in what you're wearing. Yeah, I should have thought about that. You know what I'm saying? And I know for now, like, all right, cool. If it's a spot, if I'm doing anything, what's the dress code?
Right.
You know, is there a dress code for my guests? You know, I know there's not probably going to be a dress code for myself, but for people that I got coming, is it though? You know. So with that being said, what are ways that you guys feel like we can improve on working with bookers to kind of have a overall better experience when we are booking for these spots and whenever we're dealing with bookers? What do you guys think?
I think.
Go ahead.
I think communication is key, like everything else, right? Yeah. Like asking those questions. Is there anything that I might have missed? Because I'm sure them as bookers, they've dealt with numerous amounts of DJs, right? And so, and I don't think everybody really asks those questions. Sometimes you get comfortable because you know the situation. Yeah. But there could be specific things like the dress code at Elevate. Like that's like a thing that sticks out to me, you know, from the first time I played there, and then onto like other venues that have specific genres of music that they might not want played, even though you feel like the stereotype is there for that venue. Like a Latin venue might not want Latin music. Yeah, sounds crazy.
It's crazy, but
that's a real thing, right? And so I think the best thing you can always do is communication. And I think that's a two-way street. It doesn't just land on the DJs; it also lands on the booker. And I think just having that dialogue and not having too much ego to be afraid to ask a quote unquote stupid question, right? Because at the end of the day, all you're looking to do is be able to give your best. And I think if they're a professional, experienced, mature booker, they're gonna give you the best information they can give you with, and
the most information.
The most, absolutely. You know, I know venues who pre-party. You know, they know every single person that has a table, and they're explaining it to every single server, and they're explaining what the celebration is, if there's one, or they're explaining who they are and what their experience is with spending money or whatever it may be. And I think those situations, the more information you have, the better the possible experience. So I think it's just communication always. You know, there's you think you have your bases covered, and then, you know,
something else will pop up.
Something else pops up, or I think that's really part of it, you know?
Well, I think, like communication is ultimate, but a part of that is you have some of these bookers, it's even at like the elite level, where they may not ask for a W-9 or an invoice until after the gig. And you're thinking, well, that just delays the process. Right. I could have figured this out a week or two ago. I could have submitted this a week or two ago. Yeah. You know? So I think don't wait for them to hit you up. Ask them, yo, is this a cash situation or do you need a W-9? Yeah. To me, like it's not an issue, but that's always been like if there's a delay in the situation, that's usually the biggest delay. And just to expand on this convo, if you know, sometimes you deal with bookers that don't respond in a certain amount of time. And I think you just, you know, I think you have to be careful on how often you hit them up, you know, because you may want another booking, or you may want to get booked for the first time, and you just got to understand, like, if it's not meant to be, it's not going to happen now. Yeah. But like when I'm in that situation, I just like if this club hasn't reached back, and I've sent them, I don't know, like 20 emails in the last year, like the time will come. You just got to continue to feel that it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time, You know, so
what's the proper etiquette for reaching out to a booker? You know what I mean? Like, let's say you're reaching out and you send whatever, it's an email, a text message, or something like that, but you get no response. Like, obviously, you don't get a response within 24 hours.
Well, I wouldn't send a text if it was to someone I know. If all I get is their number, I'd say, can I get an email? I can, connect with you, because they don't want, like, text to me is a little too personal.
Yeah,
I don't have that until they give me their number. But when I first reach out to a booker, like, I'll tell our listeners straight up, I'll put in the email, this is what I do, this is what I have done, because usually the first thing they want to know is, where do you spin?
Mm-hmm.
Or where have you spun? Do you have any residencies?
Mm-hmm.
So off the bat, I'll just say, this is a shorter version of my EPK. These are my residencies. This is what I've done in recent days, and this is what I have coming up.
Yeah.
And then the EPK, and some bookers still want to mix. Yeah. So you put, that's kind of crazy though. Yeah, like, a booker wants to mix, but you how can you judge based on what there's no crowd?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I get it. They want to know if you can DJ. But it's, I don't know, like, I still do it. If they ask me, I know a lot of DJs say, fuck that, I ain't gonna submit a mix, like, I'm too proud. All right, but you know what? What's it to you to put together a 30-minute mix? You don't have to put together a full hour, but put together a little 30-something. And you know what? Every time I put together a 30-minute mix, which isn't that often, but when I do, I kind of like get caught up. I get really caught up, and I'm on point with what's new and how to kind of be creative with it, you know? So it's kind of like an exercise of creativity, if you will. So I'm usually not mad at it. I just think it's still kind of crazy. But I put all that in the email, and I never expect them to hit me back right away, because a lot of these bookers, man, it's based on relationships.
Yeah.
It's based on consignment. So if they're not hearing it from Randy out in Boston or Padram at Tao, big ups to those guys. If they're not hearing it directly from them, it's tough to just come out of nowhere and just ask for a booking.
You can't really just come out of the blue and be like, I know that this is a popular spot and these people don't know who the fuck I am, and for me to ask for a booking, like, I feel like that's a shot in the dark. Like, you're really not going to get, and you're gonna have to go through all those steps, in order for them to even know who you are, as opposed to getting, the referral from, a mutual friend or, another booker that they know, whatever, the case is. So I feel like I know, and maybe in our experiences, whenever we do get booked in another spot, it's usually from somebody that knows somebody, or being like, yo, that person is dope, or they heard us spin somewhere because, one of us brought the person out, or someone that has brought that person out, or something like that. So that's how normally are. But just the proper etiquette. I don't know what it is for you, Mike. Like, if you reach, like I'm saying, like, let's say that interaction happened for you, right? You met the booker for this spot that you're interested in spinning at, right? You politicked with them for a little bit. Y'all exchanged contact information. What's the etiquette moving forward? You know what I mean? What if they are cool? They're like, yo, here's my number, hit me up, blah blah blah. You hit them up, but you didn't get that response in 24 hours. Like, is it? Do you be like a crazy bitch and you constantly hit them?
Definitely not.
You know what I'm saying? Like, do you constantly be like, I'm gonna show them that I'm persistent. Like, I'm gonna constantly, like, I'm relentless, and I'm gonna just constantly hit them up because I'm interested, and obviously they're gonna act like a nigga and be like, nah, you're too aggressive. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do it. Or like, do you give them some time? Do you just hit them up once, and if they don't respond, you kind of just chalk it up as, all right, I'm not gonna get booked? Or, you know what I'm saying? What's the proper etiquette to go about it?
I think if there's a line of communication or a network that reaches to that person beyond just your direct conversation, it's always good to kind of do the research to see how they work. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they, like, for myself specifically, like, because there's a podcast, because there's a store, because there's my own DJ career, because there's, everything else that's going on, like, there's specific days that I do work and there's specific days I don't do shit. Like, in regards to that specific category, like, I'm not lazy, but, like, I'm always doing something. And so sometimes that could be my Monday, or my Tuesday. And so you might not get the response because you hit them on I don't know, they work on Tuesdays and you hit them up on Wednesday. Well, they're not going to get back to you until next Tuesday. That's 5 business days or whatever, you know? So sometimes people work a certain manner, and I think it's good to know those things. Now, if you don't have line of communication, I think it's, you know, the persistence thing, it's tough. Yeah. And I think that just comes down to the relationship that you have with that person and understanding what you can push and what you can't push. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think you just got to kind of read that situation with them and kind of throw it out there. Like, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, I know every slick move in the book. Like, if you and I had a conversation, and I'll relate this to the store. If we have a conversation that, yo, I need you to find the shoe for me, right? And I'm like, I got you. Like, it's on my list. I've told my staff, I'm gonna find you that shoe, right? You need a Cav 4 size 11, right?
Yeah. Definitely hit your ass up about that.
I know that's what you need.
Yeah.
I'll go look for it when the time aligns, and it's in the back of my head if a pair pops up. Yeah. But that's not a commonly seen shoe. Exactly. Or offered at the right price all the time. So sometimes that it sits on the burner, but it's not like what I'm cooking, right? At the moment. And then you and I don't talk, but 4 days later, you react with a fire emoji to one of my basketball highlights. I kind of know what you're doing. Like, it's a lot. Like, obviously not because it's you. Yeah, I'm saying if it was just a random person, because you're my boy, you'll support me.
I'll just hit you up. Hey, my nigga, what's good with them shoes?
Yeah, you'll do that, but you also encourage me just to encourage me, not because you need access to me. No. Other people will encourage to get access.
I got you.
And those shoes you got on look real good on you.
Right.
Can't believe you were hitting them like that with those shoes. Man.
So I'll say on the DJ side of things, you know, like, you got to be careful about how you interact in any form that's outside of the normal, you know, pattern. Yeah. So I think you just gotta kind of read it, man, and depending on what the situation is, like, if you're waiting to get a booking, then that's one thing. If it's you're waiting for pay, that's another. You know. I think on the pay side, it does get frustrating at times, because if you're dealing with, depending on the level of professionalism, and what you're used to, like, out of all the venues I play in LA, like, there's only one venue that pays me cash, and doesn't ask me for a W-9, and so I mentally take that as, all right, normally my rate would be this, but I could take less because they're not taxing me, and it's cash on the spot. Yeah. I know other spots who are getting my W-9, who are cutting me a check. And sometimes that check doesn't arrive the night of. There's a place that does it the night of. There's a place that does it if it's a promoter, it could be 2 weeks later, because promoters get paid a week later. Exactly. And then there's like multi-level, you know, agencies that manage different venues, and sometimes you're waiting a month to get that check. You know, especially if they're from out of town. Now you got to wait for it to get mailed. Yeah, exactly. You got to wait for the accounting to get caught up. And so, you know, there's different levels.
And that goes in the line of communication, like Joe was saying earlier. Yeah. Like you have to have that conversation beforehand. Hey, how does the pay situation work? You know, how long do I have to wait? Right. You know, et cetera, et cetera. I think a lot of us, we go into a situation thinking that, oh, okay, cool, we're going to get paid the night of. And, you know, for the most part, sometimes it happens that way. You know what I mean? Like, you know, for example, going back to my Elevate, Eddie Boy asked me for a W-9 a week prior to my date. When I got there, check was cut. Thank you for coming. Thank you for, you know what I mean? Boom, boom. Done. Here's the situation. You know what I mean? Yep. That was great. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that was probably a great situation or scenario that any DJ would want to be in. Right. But it doesn't always happen. Like you said, it doesn't always happen that way. There's a lot of things that will take, you know, take the process longer or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But if that's communicated prior, then the DJ shouldn't have a problem. If you know, hey, you're not going to get paid for another month. Right. You know what I mean? For example, like you said, I know I have a place that I get cash from, but they pay me in cash, but they don't get paid in cash. Right. You know what I'm saying? But in the process for them takes about a month to get it. And so they were like, yo, it's going to take this long. No problem. I know that ahead of time, so I know that, okay, I can expect this money whenever, you know.
I mean, that's as long as it should take is a month.
Yeah. It's just, that's
anything
just longer than that, I feel like it's disrespectful.
Yeah, or maybe not disrespectful, but you may need to consider that they're going through some financial hardships,
True.
and it's probably something you could have sniffed out leading into it. It's usually if I go into a club and it's kind of quiet and it's just me and like 50 other people, I'm kind of preparing to expect a late check.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like that through my experience, that's just what I know. But going back to how often you should hit these bookers up, I think it really depends on your relationship with the booker, and it can be a relationship that just kicked off, and you know you probably don't want to do it once a week, or maybe you feel like once a week is good. Like I'd say in between once or once every other week, reaching out to them, and then if they don't reply after, I don't know, I'm just throwing them out. Let's say 3 or 4 times, give it a rest.
Yeah.
You know, like don't say anything to them for a month or two. Hopefully within that time frame, you've leveled up. You're doing cooler stuff, and now you can say, "Hey, this is what I've been doing," so they can see the progress. And I feel like when you talk to them, I think what works better for me is when you talk to them on a more personal level. Like I'm not saying you got to give them a pity story, but you got to let them a passionate level. Like letting them know like this DJ stuff means a lot to me, and you know I think if you're a little bit more personal than just yo what up, need this booking, you know, or something like that. You no one's gonna do that, but you know I think you connect more with those people, especially let them know like yo I got this is all I got, you know, no agency, no this, you know, this is what I'm doing by myself. So that might work too. I'm not saying like you shouldn't rule out anything, you know. Like if you feel like you can connect with them better on that, then I think that may or may not separate you from the usual emails that come in. But give it time, to give it space, and I promise you, like you don't need to hit them up every 2 weeks. If there's a gap in between, you know, give it some rest, reintroduce. You know, or if they say, yeah, we're done booking for the fall. You know, we'll start booking in 2020. Cool. Set a reminder for yourself. Hit them up in November or something. Okay. You know, so hey, I know you guys are starting to book around this time. You know, just want to reintroduce the situation and say it like, I just want to reintroduce the situation. This is what I've been doing. So, because you probably fired off 20 emails. They don't want to scroll through all those. Who is this guy? What did he do? Like, so you re-announce what's going on. You reintroduce yourself. And again, I don't know if this works for everybody or anybody, but these are just different ways of looking at it. Approaching it. Different ways of approaching and different angles.
Every booker experience is going to be a little different than the other one. You know what I mean? Just based off it. So let me ask you this: what's the follow-up procedure? You booked the spot, right? You went in there, you did your thing. At least to your knowledge, you felt like you went in there, you did a solid job, right? You like it, you fucks with it, you want to get another booking. Yeah. What's the procedure to go about that after? You know what I mean? How do you approach that? Do you approach the booker and be like, you know, how did everyone feel? Did you fuck with it? If you were present, you know, if you weren't present, what was the feedback that you got about my set from the staff, from whoever was there, you know, at the time that was able to hear it? What would be the procedure moving forward to get another booking?
I would probably just say like, I mean, the follow up is definitely like being grateful and appreciative of the first one, and just kind of starting dialogue back up. At some point, definitely you can ask for feedback and say like, you know, how was the reaction from the staff? How was the reaction from the night? Was it a successful night? You know? And I think it just comes down to what their goals are, right? If it's to get a quality set or music, like you probably feel good that you provided that. Yeah. If it was to like get bodies through the door, then that's a different goal, right? Yeah. Did you hit that goal? Yeah. And I think as long as you show interest in like how can we make those goals be attained together, then that shows that you care, that you give a fuck, you know? And so I think that's important to show someone, and that could create a level of separation between you and the next gig, or the next guy to get the next gig. So I think that's part of it. I don't know if there's like any other possible way to press it other than like they've heard the feedback, they've had you on.
Yeah.
Like I think it's really up to them, you know, at that point, or give it a couple months, and then at that point, hey, you know, I really had a great time when I was there last time. Like, let me know if there's any openings for the future for me to come back.
I think, however you go about it, it's out of your control, because let's say you did body the night and you felt really good about your set, and they said, yeah, you did a really good job, man. You know, we got to work out the next one. Even if they say all that and gas you and all that, it's still out of your control. You can hit them up on Monday or Tuesday, like, yo, man, thanks again. You know, let's talk about next month or the next booking. And then I feel like at that point you could probably text them, because all my experiences with the bookers is probably because I don't have an agent, and I think you can get to be more personal with the booker when you don't have an agent. Yeah. And so my experiences is I'm having dinner with them and I'm connecting with them. I'm showing up early to the club to connect with them before I DJ, and just to vibe out and show them that I care. Like, let them know I want to get there early. I want to get the vibe. And that, I think, can go a long way. So you have you're sending off all the right signals, and then you do your thing, you know, you kill it. And, you know, if you feel good about what you did and they don't respond to another booking, you can't be mad at that. Like, all you know is that you did everything you were supposed to do. And if it's not meant to be, it's just not meant to be. And again, it goes back to it's a budget thing. Yeah. You know, you got to figure out, you got to think, what time of the year is it? Is this a slow time? Are they booking 4 months out? So you got to factor in a lot of things before you have some sort of emotional reaction to it. And I think, like, if you become buddy with them, like, I think it's cool. Like, you hit them on Monday, and then if they don't respond, just a nice little friendly follow up on Thursday. You know, and if they don't respond to that, cool. Then I would hit them up next Wednesday, and from that point on, if they're still not hitting me up, I'm giving it a couple weeks, because clearly it's not gonna work. It's not gonna happen, or else they would have said, you know, we got to clear some shit up. I promise we'll get you back, but give us a few weeks. Yeah. Unless they say that, they kind of are saying that because they're not responding to you. So that's when you just got to take a deep breath, let it go. You shouldn't be relying on this anyways. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be depending on this one booking. Let it go and get to the next booking, or you know, go do whatever else. But I want to share my story, and I promise I'll leave names out. But this goes to one of your many points. So I worked with the booker a long time ago. I was cool with him. It wasn't boys, but we were very cordial, and you know, the respect was there. So this guy wanted to book me, and I said, I think I said, you know, I want X amount, and he said, I can't get you that, but if you do this booking, I'll get you a follow up, you know, at a later date, like 2-3 months later. I was like, okay, cool. Like,
same venue.
Yeah, like, all right, you're gang. Fuck it, let's do it. So I did that booking, and then when it came, and then he booked me. He had me locked in for the second booking.
What was the time separation?
One was in June, and the second booking was supposed to come in September, at the end of September.
That's not bad.
Early June, late September.
And the second date was already locked in, pre or post June gig?
Post June. Okay. So we're locked in for September. And then I see one of my other friends get booked on the same date. And I'm like, oh, tight. I get to spend with so-and-so. This would be a fun night. I felt like he forgot about my booking. So instead of flexing on him or, you know, saying anything like going crazy, I just say, yo, I'm looking forward to spending with so-and-so on the same date. Yeah. Because you got him on that date. And he's like, oh, shit. My bad. I messed up. Send me your routing number. I'll get you paid. And I'll get you another night. And I was like, all right, cool. So time went on, and let's say 2 weeks went on. Yo, what's up with that other date? You know, we're cutting it close. Oh, he said, I'll try and get you another. If I can't get you both booked, if I can't expand the budget, I'll try and get you. So I'm still holding on to that date. Okay.
The
September date.
Okay.
So I hit him up a few weeks later. Yo, what's good? Like, I need to know what's going on, because we're like a month and a half out. If anything, I can get another booking on that date. and he no respond. A week later, hit him up again, like, yo, like, what are we doing? Like, you know, we're like almost a month out. Like, I don't know if I'll get anything at this point, but still, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Got to book flights. Obviously, flights go up as the closer you get to it. And then I hit him a third time, same thing, nothing. And it was like another week later. So I want to say like the fourth time I was like, yo, what you just did was wild, disrespectful. We're like, I expect this from, you know, a random booker I don't know. You know, I mean, it's not okay, but I would expect it more from them than someone within the circle. Yeah. You know, and I went off on him. I let him have it, and he didn't even respond to that. And so I was like, I was so irate, which didn't get me anywhere, but almost lose something. And so I dealt with it. It was what it was. And now when I see this dude, like, I just don't care. Like, I don't acknowledge him because I don't like care to, you know, but I have no anger towards him. Like, I've learned to get over that and get through that. If I would have held on to that anger, to Mike's point, it would have a lot of lost opportunities. You guys had like an actual conversation, like verbal conversation about that situation. You and the mutual booker? Or the booker? The booker. We never talked about it. Never. It's probably been about like 6 years. Damn. And we still haven't talked about it. And like I said, if this was me and you or me and you, I'd be like, we need to talk. Yeah. Because we're boys. Well,
we have a different relationship.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
But I also think, just to play devil's advocate here, like the moment he didn't reply, like honestly, first time he didn't reply, or like the first time, like you got to move on. Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. So if you're dealing like if you were holding on to that date, I think that's your own fault.
Right. But and no, I agree. And if I were to do it all over again, I just would have been like, you know what, this is who he is. Like it is what it is. I can't let him. But to Joe's point that he was saying earlier, so like you said, the first time he hit him up, we don't know what personal shit he probably got going on, and he just didn't get a chance to respond to that message. So I think a follow up would have been fine, but then maybe after that one, then it's like once he just then you're like, all right, then he's definitely not trying.
I mean, only you two know how like the conversation went, right? Yeah. And like text also, it's hard to determine tone. Yeah, absolutely. Which is really like, yo, that's really important.
There was no tone on his side though, because he
no. I hear you, but like how he might have received what you said, being in whatever space he's in, like mentally or emotionally. Like, you don't know what he's going through. Yeah. Sure. And I've definitely... And you might be sending...
Agreed with
a message that he might receive cold, but you're sending it warm, right? And so sometimes that stuff gets miscommunicated. I'm not here defending anybody. Yeah. But as a... and I think you're definitely in a different headspace than you were then. Yeah. That, like, you can't hold on beyond... Like, I think once he said, like, I'll see... That's pretty much no. Like, I don't know. Or I have no control.
Well, a lot of DJs don't have that experience to understand that. So when they hear I'll see, they feel like there's still hope. And there probably is. Yeah.
So and this is why we have a platform to let you guys know. When somebody says I'll see, I'll think about it, or let me get back to you, that's usually a no, or you're not going to hear back, so move the fuck on. We got to move on.
In that scenario, because, like you said, he's someone that's in the quote-unquote circle, you probably thought a follow-up, or at least some type of response was due. You know what I mean? Like you said, if it was some booker that I didn't know or anything like that, then you probably would have chalked it up after the first reach out.
That's fine. Like, and if I would have saw that booker that I didn't know at a club or something, it would have been cool. It would be like, hey, you're just not interested in me, and I get that. That's fine. It's okay for bookers to not want to book you.
Not want to book you, that's fine.
Yeah. And I don't disagree with that at all. I think that's accurate. I think, but what's most important is like the fact that like you went off over like his non-response is like it's touchy, right? And then you're gonna see them in the same space. So why create that, right? Yeah. And so that's the part where it's like touchy.
Well, I'm not defending myself, because if this were 2019 and I get put in another situation like that, like I'm just going to chalk it up as an L and keep it moving. Well, you because it's a waste. Like, so, like I'm saying this because I don't want DJs to think it's cool to just get irate and go fuck some shit up or go on a rant. But I mean, I've seen worse stuff. I've seen DJs put the same promoter on blast on Instagram and say, "Do not work with this."
Yeah, that's uncalled for.
But that's a different thing. At the end of the day, I don't think you want to put that kind of energy out and waste your time like that, because like, I don't know how old our listeners are, but it really is a waste of time and energy when you put a lot of negative energy into some shit that's really out of your control. Yeah. And you gotta just like, and I get it. You're maybe you were excited about this booking. Maybe you're fucking, you got bills to pay. You got kids to feed. Like, I get why you would lose your shit or why you can be so upset about it, but it's definitely not worth it, because you're not making the situation any better. And you can always choose to not work with this dude. Yeah. Like, moving forward, you don't have to work with him. It's not like he runs the city. I mean, that doesn't even matter. You just don't have to work with people like this. You can choose who you want to work with. My whole thing, what I was thinking at that time was, I'm holding this dude accountable. So my other thought process is not that I'm trying to like tell DJs to go do some irate shit, but when it's someone you know, someone you're cool with, I think as DJs you should hold them accountable, because this isn't cool for you to do this to me or other people. Yeah. I'm not saying you got to go about it like me, but I think it is fair to let them know this is unprofessional. Yeah. And it's just not cool. Like, is that fair?
They have to hold. I hear what Mike is saying, but at the end of the day, I agree. Like, they have to hold some accountability to it. You know what I mean?
No, taking responsibility, absolutely. Yeah. Owning like a conversation, depending on what the last thing that was said. Like, if somebody went off on me, like, with all due respect, and it's someone who I'm not gonna work with again, like, you in that position, I might just be like, fuck it, like, whatever.
Yeah. But I'm saying, if you know that you're gonna be in that person's, you guys are going to be in the same area.
Mature person, you have to have that discussion. You definitely want to have that discussion. But it's difficult to have that discussion now because of anything that might have been said. Yeah. And so,
no, I wouldn't have that discussion after yelling at him. I'm saying eliminate the irate text part.
No. We're talking about present post.
Yeah, so but basically what I'm saying, post that.
Which at that point, like, just to put it out there, I would put that on you to have the first conversation.
Yeah, that's what I think. You should have just approached him and be like, yo, listen, I don't know what that was all about.
Is I apologize for that last text, but I'm looking for clarification. And that's all. And responsibility. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not looking for you to make up whatever. Like, there's probably no interest in friendship. There's probably no interest in working relationship. But we do share a space with common people. Yeah. And I think at that point, the maturity level is you got to always take the high road. And I'm not going to tell anybody how to do what they want to do, but I will say that what has presented best results in my experiences in everything is, number one, never burn a bridge, good or bad. Mm-hmm. You'll never know when you need that bridge, and you'll never know who that person knows. And that person could be someone who you may not want to share energy with. That person could be something you're never going to work with. But at the end of the day, like, the network, as big as it is very small. And so historically in business or in anything, you never want to burn a bridge. And I think that's number one. Number two, like, I really forgot what number two was. But going into this conversation.
Well, I think it's based on perception. So your version of the high road is apologize and do all that. My version of the high road is I just don't have to say anything to him. Like, how many times have we agreed with a TED Talk or some motivational speaker where they say, cut those people out of your life? But I don't have to be buddy with him, and I don't have to engage in a fake conversation with him just to kill time. Yeah. Like, I can sit next to him right here. And I'm sure we've shared this moment in the past, in the last 5-6 years, and not say a word to him and just be comfortable.
Mickey, you know what? You used to book DJ, so I'm like, how did that work for you? How
many guys did you leave hanging?
Yeah, how many times did you you were cool with someone and you just been like, yo, regardless if they just weren't a good fit for the club, or you just felt like skill wise they just weren't there, or whatever the reasoning was for you not wanting to book them. Were you, and you can be honest, you know, be transparent with the people out there.
Shit, that was like 10 years ago.
You know what I'm saying? Like, did you leave people
honest.
hanging? Like, if they hit you up about getting booked, you just not responding to them?
No, I mean, look, your word is your bond. Essentially, it's what will determine a lot of future relationships. And if I, even to this day, right, like it was 7 years ago, but like people that I worked with and I was cool with, still to this day we're cool because of those things, right? Because I handled business appropriately. I will say that people who like, I would never lead somebody on, in regards to like, oh yeah, let me like fit you in, and that's always a tough conversation. I mean, I'm sure transparently, like I got to book you guys, but I probably didn't get to book you guys as much as I wanted to. Yeah. Because either budgets weren't aligned, or because the venue had its own other agenda or goals that it wanted to attain. So being in control, like you have to keep a counterbalance of personal favors / preference and a balance of doing your fucking job. Yeah. And I think ultimately, speaking on situations that we might have dealt with as a group here, we don't know what those people are going through. We don't know how their budgets are cut, how they're adjusted, and we may commit to certain things and be put in a position. And I think that part is difficult for some people to like speak on. Yeah. Right? Because nobody likes to admit or be wrong. I don't think anybody does anything intentionally malicious. Yeah, of course. I think there's a difference between like wanting to fuck someone over and accidentally fucking somebody over. Yeah. Yeah. Right? And then how you take that responsibility is one thing. But I will say this, like as a DJ, if you ever do get fucked over, like you can't hold that against anyone. No, yeah, absolutely. Because someone once told me that holding onto resentment is like drinking poison expecting the other person to die. Yeah. And so unless you release that from you, like it could hold back other opportunities. It could hold back other people to connect with, and I think that's the best advice to be given in a manner to be able to move on and just look at the bright side versus worried about what went wrong. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like if we start worrying about shit that we can't control, like we will go nuts. Yeah. And whether it's openly or internally, that's also another thing. But not to take it to a too deep of level conversation, but at the end of the day, man, like good business is good business. Dealing with bookers is definitely when you're dealing with your friends specifically, I can speak on my experiences. Like it was tough, because you definitely have goals to reach, you have budgets to agree to, yeah, and you just want to be able to succeed. But of course, like when opportunities arise to be able to work with people that you genuinely fuck with, that's the biggest blessing in the world, right? So like being able to make money while doing the shit you love, like I mean, I got a salary just to book people on. Yeah. I'm like, bro, like I'd be booking these people anyway. Paycheck, when we started the MikiDz show, we did that shit for free. Yeah. I mean, shit, we're doing this podcast for free. Sure. For now. Contract signing days up. Hey, talk to me. But in all realness, like as long as the heart and passion's there, like you're doing things right, you're not trying to be malicious. And I think especially when I was doing bookings, I'd always try to do my best to keep the hospitality like to its best ability. I'd push for whatever, and I would want it to always feel like a home game. That was the idea. Before we wrap it up, if you guys have any questions about the booking process or anything else that we didn't touch on, shoot us a line. Let us know. We're always welcome to come back and address these topics. Yes, sir. And either it'll be the question of the day, or we'll make it a part of episode 20 where we address a bunch of questions. Yeah, and definitely we would like to reference over to this kind of correlates and ties into a couple other episodes we've done, which is do's and don'ts of networking, and then even agency talk, because in some ways, having management in these situations can also alleviate some of those stresses because they can have that conversation with the booker. And then there's obviously, of course, we'll run into bookers that we are tight with, we are homies with, and don't really want to talk to your management, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got to respect that. But also, I remember hearing a story once about somebody who did a quote unquote homie booking, but they didn't, in a homie booking, that deposit isn't normally there. It's kind of off trust. And then his agency presented a gig for the same date, and it was for more money, and it was with a deposit. Which at that point, you have to respect your management and take that booking. And because you did the homie favor, like, that's not guaranteed. So that could open a whole other, like, door to our conversation. But those are kind of also the pros and cons of, for the most part, we all kind of deal with people directly. I'm just recently having management handle my conversations, and it's pretty, like, efficient for me, actually, where you just have to show up and all the details. But, at the end of the day, the working DJ is definitely important to help guide through these different little situations.
We chalking up episode 12?
I think that does it for episode 12.
Yeah.